Hey guys, welcome back. I am John, and this is my Superfly female, which is super pastel and fire. Um, Today was actually a requested video from a viewer's comment on something else, and today we're going to talk about the spider gene in ball pythons, uh, Wobble. If you have heard of it, and if you haven't heard of it, it's something that's linked to the spider gene, and my thoughts on it. And some of you may know that I choose not to buy or breed that gene. And I'll explain why here in a couple seconds. Please remember to like and subscribe. So Wobble is a neurological disorder that affects basically the snake's motor functions. It is tied to the spider gene, the champagne gene, and hidden gene woma, and a couple others. As far as like my research has gone, basically, if you have a spider, it has that neurological disorder. It has wobble. The severity of wobble can vary drastically to the point where maybe you don't notice it at all, or to the point where the snake has a very hard time moving around, not wobbling its head, can't make itself go upright. You know, if you were to turn a healthy snake from another gene upside down, it immediately wants to be right side up. It does not want to be on its back. So, you know, this snake here, it immediately tries to make itself go right side up. You know, with a spider, sometimes it can't do that. Sometimes it kind of gets stuck there. I told this story in another video, but when I first got into ball pythons a couple years ago, I purchased a snake. It was a multi-gene snake. At this point, I already knew about the spider gene. I already knew about wobble, and I decided I didn't want to deal with it, or anything to do with it. I didn't think it was the right thing to do. So I bought a multi-gene snake from a one of the bigger breeders, I guess. I'm not going to name names, but and so they shipped me this snake that I bought. And when I got it home, I realized that it was sort of acting funny. It would crawl along its enclosure, and then it would go up the side of the enclosure, and then it would go upside down, crawling like that in the enclosure, and it would literally be half upside down inside of its enclosure. Its head, you know, would sway back and forth when it was crawling, and it had trouble striking at its food. So I contacted the breeder because, you know, being new to it, this is maybe honestly the second or third snake I bought. I was like, this snake's acting really funny. Its head was like vibrating, like shaking really fast. You know, it was going upside down inside of its tub. You know, what's going on with it? He goes, you know, it could be stress. He said, or you know, looking at that snake, it may have actually had the spider gene in it. You know, I'll take a refund, you know, if you want to send it back. And to me, at that point, it's kind of looking back, it absolutely had to have the spider gene in the snake. You know, I sent it back, he gave me the refund. I didn't have any issues with that part of the exchange. It was kind of, you know, a mistake on his part with the listing. But that was my only experience with a spider directly in my collection. And I mean, it was, for lack of a better word, it was sick. I don't understand, even if there's a 10% chance of you breeding the snake, that can happen to it, why people are breeding it. It would be similar to as if, you know, you have cute little puppies, but you know, there's a 50% chance that puppy is going to have trouble walking or getting up off its back if it rolls over. If you know that's in the family, in the parents' lineage, in their history, why would you breed dogs with those parents anymore? You probably wouldn't, because they're dogs and they're cute and cuddly and everybody loves them. there's no excuse to breed snakes that do that. It's sort of our job to do what's ethical, and I don't find it ethical when you're purposefully breeding a snake that you know is going to have a neurological disorder, and you don't know how bad it's going to be. Spiders seem to thrive for the most part. I think on Morph Market right now there's like 18,000 ball pythons listed, and like 1,800 of them are spiders or spider combos. They thrive. They've been around forever. I think they're honestly one of the first genes ever pulled out of the hobby. It has nothing to do with the fact that these snakes don't eat and they don't survive, they don't live to be 20 years old. It's the fact about whether or not you should actually be breeding it at this point. There's plenty of other genes that breed that don't have any sort of stigma or neurological disorder tied to them that you can breed instead. And to me, it doesn't make sense. I just don't understand how anybody can justify breeding that if you really care about these animals. You have absolutely no idea what that snake's life is like every day. You have no idea how difficult it is for that snake to get around. You don't know how else it's affecting its neurological system. It's not like that snake can talk to you and say, look, life really sucks for me, put me out of my misery. You have no way of knowing that. So from an ethical standpoint, if you know a spider carries a neurological disorder that it carries Wobble, why breed it? Breed something else. I mean, there's look how this girl here is able to control her muscles, control her head, where it's going. There's some spiders that are so bad, they can't hold their heads straight. It could not come straight at the camera like this. It would be flailing all over the place. Now that's a severe form of Wobble, but it definitely happens, and I don't know why there's a necessity, why there's a need to breed this gene at this point, 20 years plus into the hobby, into this gene being found, and proving time and time again that it is absolutely linked. Wobble is absolutely linked to spiders and champagnes and hidden gene womas. Now, after that rant, this topic, it really blew up. I feel like sometime in 2019 is when it happened. There's a lot of back and forth, and all the YouTubers, whether they were super famous or, just starting off, were making videos about the gene, and, some bickering back and forth, and I wasn't making YouTube videos at that point. And I wasn't necessarily going to make this video because it wasn't in my list of things to do, but a viewer brought it up, and I thought, maybe 2-3 years later, maybe it's a good time to kind of refresh everybody about what's going on with this gene, and educate new people coming into the hobby about what it is, because it's those news cycles. Everything happens so quick that I haven't seen anybody talk about Wobble in years at this point, because it was a topic that was on fire 3 years back, 2 years back, but nobody's talking about it now. And everybody that is buying a ball python needs to know about this, because it's something that if you're caught off guard and you buy a spider or a bumblebee or a mimosa with the champagne gene, you get caught off by this gene, you get a snake home, and it has trouble striking at its food, or its head's quickly vibrating, or it can't keep its head straight when it's kind of reaching out, or it has whatever other issues it has, it's going to be a serious shock to you. And some people, there have been comments around that people are saying it's cute that it's not cute. There's something wrong with you if you think your snake having a neurological disorder is cute. Absolutely, there's something wrong with you, and I'll call you out now, and I have no problem saying it, and you can write stupid comments down below, but you have a problem if you think it's okay to breed an animal and that it's cute that it has a neurological disorder. People do not go around thinking it's okay to breed fluffy animals like that, and if that happened to humans, if there were humans that had a similar neurological disorder, you wouldn't be breeding those humans because it's cute to do. It's not ethical. So it's not okay with snakes either. There's not a whole lot more to say about that, I think, at this point. It attaches itself to multiple genes, again, spider, champagne, hidden gene woman, to name a few. And it's absolutely in all of those snakes. It's almost unnoticeable in some, and in others it's extremely noticeable. As far as I know, I don't know if any snakes die from just having the spider gene, a single copy of the spider gene. Maybe it's possible that some have it so severe that it's just hard for them to take off as hatchlings. They just don't eat food and they just kind of die at a young age because it's so bad. Most of them are probably okay, but my point isn't whether or not the snakes eat and survive into adulthood and are able to breed. My point is whether or not you should be doing that at all, period, knowing that it's a disorder linked to the specific gene. And my answer is no, you shouldn't be doing it. I don't think it's okay for anybody to be doing it. I don't own any of those snakes in my collection. Personally, I knew about spider from the start. I didn't know how severe it was in the other genes like champagne. And I love the way mimosas look. I think they're beautiful snakes. It's a champagne and a ghost. And when I bought my big collection last year with Princess, my huge mystic potion, and my crystal, that guy who sold me that collection had a mimosa that he was selling, and it was one of the coolest looking snakes in the world that I had ever seen. And I thought to myself, man, I would just buy that snake and keep it as a pet and not breed it, just keep it because it was so pretty. But I decided, I decided when I started this that I didn't want any of that stuff in my collection. And I thought, maybe I should just not buy it. And I didn't. I still see mimosas pop up every once in a while. I'm like, wow, I really love to look at that snake. And I'd love it as a pet. But if I go to buy this, all it does is, tells other breeders that I should make more of these. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to, put money in the pockets of people doing it. Obviously this is all my opinion. It's never going to be the end all be all about whether or not people should be or shouldn't be breeding this. It's a very hot topic that, I kind of had to bring back to light in this video, but everybody that's new to the hobby needs to know about this, and everybody that isn't new to the hobby should think about it again and keep it fresh in your mind. Back when this all came around, I forget the exact name of it, but it was like in the UK, the organization that runs all of like the reptile shows there actually banned the sale of the spider gene at the reptile shows. It doesn't have the ability to ban breeders from breeding it or selling it outside of the shows, but they banned all sales of the spider gene in the reptile shows themselves. And that tells you something. They're banning a specific gene because they felt it was unethical to breed them anymore at that point. They can't control what everybody does in their own house or their own warehouse where they're breeding stuff, but they could control what was being sold at that reptile show. And I give them kudos for that because that's a big move. I'm sure it ticked off a lot of the breeders going there because some of these guys, they breed tons of spiders. It could be half of what they have in their collection and they weren't able to sell them at the show. So if it's big enough for a whole reptile association to ban from the reptile shows, then it's a bigger issue than just a couple sound bites on YouTube. So really think about it before you buy your spider or your champagne. Do your research on Wobble and know what it does. Look up the videos on YouTube to see how severe it can be, because I hope to God that seeing that video turns you off to purchasing that snake. And I would like to see everybody in this hobby stop breeding them because there's no need to. They're beautiful snakes, but there are thousands of other ways to combine other genes to make beautiful snakes. There's no need for the spider gene at this point. And it should just go by the wayside, let it go, and breed something else. So that's my take on it. I don't want anything to do with the spider gene. I don't want it in my collection. I will never buy one, and I don't think anybody should buy one. I don't think anybody should be breeding them. And it's not, again, my argument isn't, well, it won't survive and it won't thrive till adulthood and it can't breed. I don't care about any of that. What I care about is whether or not it's the right thing to do. And when you're consciously and knowingly breeding a snake that is absolutely 100% gonna have a neurological disorder, whether you as a human can see it or not, is not the right thing to do. Thanks for stopping by today. I hope you enjoyed my rant, and I'll see you next time.